off any longer. Check out Economowalk Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. That's 262-567-7224. Start 2025 on a good note by feeling confident about your smile and go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowalk Dental Care.
With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Richlands. Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11 o'clock. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 22nd. I'm Jessica Tighe. Your top story? First, the Arctic air, now snow.
I'm Adam Roberts, in for Greg Matzek. Could deportations come to Wisconsin?
Speaking of that snow, not a ton, less than an inch, but it's still out there. Breezy otherwise. High of 24 today. We will take that. Still windy as well, though, so it's not really feeling like that. Tonight, snow early, clearing late, low of 13. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, and a high of 20. It's currently 11 degrees in Milwaukee with light snow. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, after 3 straight days of bitter cold, southeast Wisconsin will see slightly milder temperatures today. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore says the warmer weather will also bring an elevated chance for snow.
There are going to be pockets of scattered snow showers, mainly through the mid to late morning hours, even into this afternoon. It's not going to be an all-day snow, but pockets of snow showers could lead to a trace to maybe under an inch of snowfall for most of the area all the way into this evening. So watch out for some slippery spots as we roll through the day today.
Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in just minutes.
The White House kicking off mass deportation plans. Alabama Republican Senator Katie Britt says ICE arrested over 300 illegal immigrants Tuesday alone. Now, there's been no confirmation on those numbers from ICE, the White House, or the Department of Homeland Security. This all comes as President Trump has promised in an executive order to end birthright citizenship, which Attorney General of California Rob Bonta says is inhumane.
In the hours after President Trump was sworn into office, he issued an onslaught of disastrous and damaging executive orders, including one that seeks to end birthright citizenship. I have one message for President Trump. I'll see you in court.
Trump's team said they have been anticipating the fights that are starting to brew at the local and state levels.
The Trump administration's calling for the end of birthright citizenship and the deportation of all undocumented migrants as people here in Wisconsin asking questions. Director of the Les Aspen Center for Government, Dr. Paul Nowet, tells WTMJ the National Guard could be used to find undocumented migrants here in our state.
If the feds actually are sent in, or there's a nationalized National Guard, then Tony Evers and other governors who want to push back on that, they're going to have a lot more limited options. Because if the federal government itself is enforcing Trump's executive orders or federal immigration law, then it wouldn't be constitutional for the states to stand in their way.
Nowet says to keep an eye on raids in Chicago to understand how these raids might work.
Making it easier to be removed from the ballot, Republican lawmakers in Wisconsin are proposing a state law change to allow candidates to remove their names, since the only way to do so under current state law is for a certified candidate to die. The proposal stems from issues on the November 2024 ballot after independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dropped out of the presidential race but remained on Wisconsin's ballot. The law change would need support of the legislature and Governor Evers.
An annual tradition renewed tonight in Madison. Governor Tony Evers will lay out his plan for Wisconsin during the annual State of the State address. The governor is expected to lay out the state's priorities for the next year, as well as plans and investments to address pressing issues facing Wisconsinites. Proposals include lowering out-of-pocket costs for Wisconsin families, supporting the state public education system, and addressing the state's looming child care crisis.
Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Green so far for the major three. Right now, the Dow up 109 points at 44,135. The Nasdaq's up 304. Good start to the day for them at 20,061. And the S&P 500 close to 6,100 points, just under at 6,099. That's up 50. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Another former Brewer is heading to Cooperstown. Stay close. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is coming up at 11:05.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@wtmj.com. john.mercure@wtmj.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE @wtmj.com.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
These are going to be the best pancakes ever.
Let's see. Griddle, mixing bowls, and birdseed.
For the world's first pancake bird feeder snowman. Ta-da!
For home-cooked breakfasts, special bird feeders, and more, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Like 50-pound bags of Blaine's Black Oil Sunflower Seed, $19.99, and KT Suet Cakes, 4 for $6. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
New Year's resolution, finally do something about that old garage door. Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company. Time to give the biggest door to your home the look, style, and function it demands. Our holiday guests, first thing they say when they walk in, wow, that new garage door looks really nice. Lifetime also installed a new opener. So quiet, LED lights, camera equipped. You can even run it from an app on your phone. To help fit your budget through January, tell them Vinny sent you. They'll knock 5% off the total purchase on all service and installation. Get started at lifetimedoor.net.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Another former Brewer is heading to Cooperstown. Pitcher C.C. Sabathia received 342 votes and is one of 3 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame's 2025 class. During his 3 months in Milwaukee, Sabathia helped lead the team to the postseason in 2008, snapping a 25-year playoff drought for the franchise. It was an easy win for Marquette men's basketball, 76-59 over Seton Hall last night. Next up, Villanova here in Milwaukee on Friday. And the 18th-ranked Wisconsin men took it down to the wire against UCLA, but would fall just short to the Bruins, 85-83, for their first loss since December 10th. The Badgers are now off until a Sunday home game against Nebraska. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
All right, let's get to the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We've got a number of incidents right now due largely in part to the slippery conditions from the snow falling. We'll start on 894 heading from 43 North to the bypass. We've got a ramp closure. That's due to a crash about 15 minutes ago. Then just into our traffic center, we have a crash off the freeway system, but right near where you get onto 94 at Highway 83 in Waukesha County. That is closed are the 2 right lanes on the state highway due to a separate crash there. We've also got a multi-car incident right now on 4145 South near Watertown Plank Road. It's out of the way of traffic. Earlier, there were 3 lanes closed due to this. That has now been reduced to just the left shoulder block due to that crash there. But it's still a little bit slow as you work your way south towards the zoo on 4145.
We are warming up, Wisconsin. It's still cold, though. Scattered snow showers today. We'll see less than an inch. We have a high of 24. Sounds a lot better than it did the last 3 days. Tonight, we'll dip down to 13. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high at 20. Friday, mostly sunny and a high at 23. Then Saturday, we have a high of 36. Mostly cloudy, chance of flurries on Saturday. Sunday, mostly sunny, and a high of 28. It's currently 11 degrees in Milwaukee with light snow.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Tighe, and in for Greg Metzik, it's Adam Roberts.
I kind of feel like we were in the freezer, and we know it's not locked, so we're opening the door, and we're like peeking out. Can we go out? We're warming up just a little bit, but it's still cold. We're still in there. We're not out just yet.
Yeah, I hope anyone who was heading out this morning wasn't expecting it to suddenly be in the 20s at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, because that is not the case.
I was waiting to the last minute to take the dog out, and I have to time it right because he's on some heart medication and some diuretics, so it's like, okay, time this, time that, and I was looking at the temperature. I'm like, okay, we went up another degree, and we will take every single degree we can get. We've got a big day for you today. One of the things I love about Wisconsin's Midday News, the variety that we can bring you. We're going to go to Capitol Hill and check on the vibe now that President Trump is back in office and everything that's going on this week. And you know what else we have coming in today?
What's that?
Tighe, the world-famous water skiing squirrel.
He's coming in studio?
Coming in studio today.
My goodness.
We've got it all. The hard news, the fun news, we've got you covered.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, the Arctic air is moving out. All of our cold weather advisories and warnings have come to an end. We're in the double digits now. Still cold, though, don't get me wrong. The gusty wind is making it tough yet. Meanwhile, some of the places where Wisconsinites go to escape the cold and snow provide no relief today. A historic winter storm just swept the southeast.
7.5 inches of snow on Pensacola Beach, 8 inches in Milton, Florida. Even seasoned truck drivers are slowing down in the Panhandle.
I've seen snow a lot, but not in Florida. Not like this.
A winter storm warning has expired in Georgia, but not before 8-year-old Kylie Kendall got outside.
I like snow. It's fun, and you can make snow angels.
Forecasters say the same region shivering in sub-freezing temperatures today may be unseasonably warm to start February. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
New Orleans also saw a rare winter storm, and that's where the Milwaukee Bucks are right now. They've got their game tonight. Their play-by-play announcer, Lisa Byington, I was checking out Twitter. She tweeted out a video showing people enjoying the snow, so it was really fun to see. And a lot of these people, it was the first time they've ever seen snow. They've never experienced this before.
That's why I heard in the Jim Ryan story, the kid going, I like snow. I'm like, yeah, you like it now that you've had it one time, then you get it every single day for the rest of your life, and we'll see about that.
Oh, man. Byington also had a video. There was this van going down a snowy street, and the passenger in it had the window rolled down and was playing a trombone, playing a little bit of jazz. And I thought, how New Orleans is that?
That is incredibly New Orleans. Just roll the window back up because you're letting the heat out.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Number 2, impact beginning today after President Donald Trump's first actions in a sweeping dismantling of the federal government's diversity and inclusion programs. ABC White House correspondent Karen Travers.
The Trump administration says by 5 p.m. today, all federal employees working on diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI programs and initiatives, must be put on paid administrative leave. That's according to a memo from the Office of Personnel Management obtained by ABC News. This move by the Trump administration shuts down the relevant DEI offices and programs across the federal government. It follows his executive action to dismantle federal DEI programs, something he pledged to do on the campaign trail. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Meanwhile, here at home, local organizations speaking out against the administration's plans to end birthright citizenship via executive order that was announced earlier this week. Just moments ago, the group Forward Latino holding a press conference outside of Milwaukee City Hall. We'll have more on that throughout the day here on WTMJ. And as a reminder, again, those federal DEI offices closing at 4 p.m. Central Time today.
Number 3, the price of toys could go up. President Trump is mulling a 10% tariff on imports of Chinese-made goods, and it could happen as soon as next month. President Trump says he wants to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. as toy makers sound the alarm about their concerns. The CEO of Basic Fun, that's the company that makes Tonka trucks and Care Bears. Oh, I loved Care Bears as a kid. Well, it's now warning of increased price tags and possible safety issues if the tariffs impact American toy vendors.
If you put a tariff on the cost of importing the toy, it just goes right on top of the price. So if I absorb it, I have to mark it up. Then my customer absorbs it, they have to mark it up.
You got the prices at the grocery store, the eggs going up, now possibly toys too. We'll see what goes down.
Yeah, I was hoping, we just got through Christmas, so a lot of toy shopping has been done, but as we kind of watch this play out, China has said they're not going to back down, and other nations also saying that they will do the same, so we could be poising up for a trade war, potentially, in this nation.
Speaking of money, coming up next, how to clean up your finances in 2025. It's 11:14.
Tony Drake here from Drake & Associates. Big news. Our Retirement Ready radio show is moving to a new time slot. Catch us at noon every Saturday. At Drake & Associates, we craft tailor-made plans that not only meet your financial needs, but align seamlessly with your unique lifestyle. Tune in at noon on Saturdays and get retirement ready.
Drake & Associates, LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates, LLC does not provide legal or tax advice.
Hey, WTMJ's Greg Madzik. Want to get you down to Potawatomi Sportsbook tonight or any night to hang out and watch sports unlike you have ever watched sports before in Wisconsin. The Sportsbook features a 2,000-square-foot video wall. It's incredible. It will take your breath away. Never seen anything quite like it. VIP deck. They've got incredible food from the kitchen. They've got soups daily. They got incredible bison chili, great desserts, full-service bar. Really is a great place to hang out with friends and watch some sports. It's a new era of sports betting. It's on right now at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Connect with the folks at Potawatomi and visit the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside. With inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
The new year is a great time to review life, right? The holidays are over. You can focus on fresh beginnings in 2025. But what if your credit card bills from the holidays are drowning you? Or maybe you want to make sure you save more this year. Kyle McBrien is a senior financial planner with a Betterment Investment Company. He joins us here at Wisconsin's Midday News with some advice. Thanks for helping us out, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be on here today.
So let's start with getting out of that holiday debt, because you want to get out of debt first. How should families tackle that?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And the first thing that most people are probably aware of, but if they're not, is that they shouldn't always make the minimum payments required, because that's going to be one of the biggest factors against your credit score. And so you really want to make sure you can make the minimum payments. Now, most credit cards are going to be pushing 20% interest. And so that's a huge hurdle and something that we want to make sure we're tackling as best we can. So if you can afford to pay more towards the credit cards, we absolutely should. And then in the future, if you can also simultaneously put just even a little bit of money aside for your emergency fund, even just building up a month's worth of cash as an emergency fund and ultimately larger down the road, that will help you avoid getting into a debt cycle in the future. So paying off the debt as best you can, especially at the high interest rates, but also making sure you're simultaneously getting that emergency fund in place.
I mean, those interest rates just kill you. You talk about 20% interest. I think about the one time years ago, I'm always good about paying off my credit card bill, but one time I missed it. I think I was on a vacation or I was doing something. I was caught up in life and I missed it. And I thought, oh, goodness. And then I paid it off, but I guess the timing was a little off. So then the next month you had that fee and then you have the interest. And it just is mind-boggling how quickly all of that money can add up.
It really is, and it's unfortunate. I wish there could be changes to it, but as long as those interest rates are around, that's part of the reason why we focus on that so much. Now, to your point, automating your payments can really help a lot of folks, and something that I think, especially as we make New Year's resolutions and we think about, okay, well, this resolution will only last me a couple of weeks and I'll give up. If you can automate your savings, automate your debt payments, and that will help you stay on track. That'll help you stay accountable so that again, you don't have to quit your resolution right away. This can stay throughout the year and hopefully in future years as well.
You mentioned emergency savings before, and that really everybody should have an emergency savings. Do most people these days have that, or are there so many families who are still trying just to save in case something catastrophic happens?
Yeah, honestly, I don't know the percentage of folks that do and don't, but I would tell you, just reading the news and understanding how the credit balloon that we've seen in our country explode, I would wager that more people are without one at this point, given that they're finding themselves paycheck to paycheck or trying to get out of these debt cycles. And so that's why I always do encourage folks to start small. A good rule of thumb is to try to reach 3 to 6 months of your expenses. But ultimately, if you're starting from scratch, that can feel very daunting. And so even just aiming for 1 month as a starting point can be a really big win for you and hopefully give you the motivation and confidence to continue building that further.
Let's talk, too, about saving for retirement. I know I just reviewed how much I'm putting into my 401k. I changed my contribution. It's a good time to do that when you have a new year. What is the best advice in 2025? Because I think sometimes people go on and they Google, how much should I be putting away right now? And it'll say, depending on your age, depending on this, and sometimes the information is old. So in 2025, how much should you ideally take out of your paycheck for retirement savings?
So it's a very personal decision. I will paint it with a broad brush here, just for the listeners here. I would say 10 to 15% of your income is a rule of thumb. Now, if you're not there yet, do not freak out because, again, your situation might be different. So just like your emergency savings, if you're not up to a reasonable savings target, I do encourage you to start small. Perhaps you can be motivated by an employer match where they give you a couple percentage if you contribute that much. So aiming for that at a minimum would be a fantastic place to start. And then every year, if you're lucky enough to get a pay raise at your job, perhaps instead of using that pay raise to go buy extravagant things, you consider increasing your contributions by, 1% or 2% along with your raise, so that as you grow in your career, you can continue building those retirement savings.
Why do you think more of this, I should say, isn't taught in school? Sometimes I think back to what we learned, and I'll be honest, I remember, what year was it? Was it like freshman year in high school maybe, or even before that, maybe 8th grade? You learned how to write out a check. And while I'm not writing many checks anymore, though some people are, and sometimes you get stuck behind them at the grocery store and it takes forever to go through, right? Some of the things I remember, it's like, take that line all the way across so nobody else can go in there and change things and little funny kind of things like that. But at the end of the day, as far as savings and what exactly is the 401k and what's a Roth conversion, things like that, I just feel like we didn't learn. And I feel like knowing that knowledge at a younger age would be helpful for everybody. Is this being taught more in school? What's your take on all that?
Well, I have not been in school for some time, but I do remember those days as well where we were learning, maybe how to file your taxes or write a check. But as you know, and you alluded to, there's a whole bunch of acronyms in personal finance, and it can become an alphabet soup. I do wish it was taught more. I don't know if it is. And that's something that I think if you're looking to educate yourself, whether you're currently in school and you want this, or if you're out of school and looking to teach yourself, I would think about first and foremost, what is your preferred learning medium? Are you someone who wants to listen to a podcast? Are you someone who wants to read a book, watch a video? However you learn best is something that you should focus on because you want to make sure you can retain it at the end of the day. So I would think about how you learn best, and I would seek out some personal finance materials that you can help just learn the basics.
Oh, man, some people are saying, read a book on finances? No thanks. And you know what? That's why Wisconsin's Midday News is here with Kyle McBrien today, a senior financial planner with a Betterment Investment Company, giving you advice so you don't have to read that book. Thanks so much, Kyle.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Talk soon. I was just talking about schools and what they teach you. Do they teach you that this day in 2025? Well, guess what? UW Extension now offering adulting classes. We're going to talk about that next. It's 11:23.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Outdoor Living Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. At 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ. Steve Scafidi is your guide through the world of politics.
I think that the risk here is we have certainly created this environment where the president is more like a dictator than a duly elected representative of the people. I think that's my fear, regardless if it's Trump or anyone else doing it. I'm not a fan of what Biden did either. I think that was disgraceful at the end.
On the Political Power Hour.
This dictator stuff is evident in the executive order he did on TikTok.
Weekday mornings from 9 to 10 on WTMJ.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time Accunet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an Accunet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life. But I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
I like your sleeves. They're real big.
Wait, what?
This was playing in Napoleon Dynamite when he was dancing with Deb.
I recognize the voice, but here I'm just like jamming out, waiting for that line to end.
And then I went and ruined it.
And then you're talking about puffy sleeves. Oh, okay. I like it. Well, what do you wish? I was just talking about when we had that interview about how to clean up your finances. Some of the things I wish I learned about investing, like 401ks and Roths back when you were young and in school. Kind of wished I would have learned that earlier. Are there things you wish you learned in school that you didn't?
For me, it's working on cars. Because my dad, bless his heart, never got around to teaching me how to, fix a flat tire or, change a headlight or something like that. And when I went to school, we didn't have tech classes. We didn't have tech ed or auto shop or anything like that. So I never learned how to work on a car. I had to kind of do that on the fly. Thank you, YouTube.
Well, there you go. Well, guess what? There are now adulting classes offered by UW Extension. You often hear that from the younger people these days. They'll say things like, adulting is hard.
It is.
And sometimes it can be, right? Well, these are independent living skills classes, basically. But I think it's really smart. And they're doing everything from showing you how to buy groceries, which that one seems a little strange to me because I don't really know what you have to explain there. Can you think of something that you have to actually explain?
About buying groceries?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, it's as simple as what do you need? Buy it. Leave the store, repeat in about a week or two.
Well, I guess I could see if you're going more in depth and thinking about how do I eat healthy and how do I do it on a budget. That could be part of buying groceries.
Now, to that point, yeah, when you are first shopping on your own and you don't have someone saying, hey, don't grab the Cheetos, got to leave the ice cream. It's a temptation that you have to sort of navigate around. So that maybe is what they're referring to.
So once again, these are classes through UW Extension. It's an online program available through the UW Extension website. Adulting classes, basically. They'll also take you into real life situations. So you go to the laundromat and you learn how to do laundry. I feel like I was doing laundry at a young age. So
yeah, that seems like it would fall under the umbrella of a parent showing you how to fold your T-shirt and put the detergent in and put the dryer sheets in, mix the whites and the colors, keep them separate, etc.
Go to a car dealership, learn how to buy a car. I think that is a smart one.
That's a good one because we've all heard that it can be and we felt it. It's extremely intimidating going in and trying to buy a car for the first time unassisted.
Yeah, doing all that wheeling and dealing. They also show you how to sign a lease. I think that's a good one. And what to know about things like health insurance. So I think it's a smart thing. I kind of laugh at the adulting classes, but I mean, these are life skills that you need to know. So I think it's awesome. It's 11:28 coming up next. Top local news and national headlines.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
You gotta get to Built Right today. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Built Right furniture, leather, and mattresses. My family just bought a new living room set and a mattress at Built Right. What a great experience. Built Right's extended New Year's sale and $1 million clearance sell-off is on now. It's all about your comfort, your style, your home at Built Right. 4 generations, 97 years strong. 3rd and 4th generation family members on hand in the store along with their amazing team. Thousands of items in stock or custom order at a low sale price. USA made small scale, Ohio Amish made, and real solid wood furniture. Over 48 models of power lift recliners in stock. 60 models of USA made mattresses, including flippable and heavy duty models. Built Right always saves you money. Free in-store design services. Built Right voted best place to shop. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, closed to be with family. Tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, just off of 894 at 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
It's 11:30. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 22nd. Your top story, Christmas Day homicide charges filed.
I'm Adam Roberts. A Vietnam veteran's family receives closure.
Scattered snow showers today, less than an inch we'll see. Breezy, high of 24. It's a lot better than it was the last 3 days. We still have the wind to deal with, though, and it's making it feel colder. Tonight, snow early, clearing late. We have a low of 13 tonight. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and a high of 20. It's currently 11 degrees in Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, felony charges now filed in connection to a Christmas Day double homicide in Milwaukee.
19-year-old Quintaris Morris and 18-year-old Jeremiah Taylor each face 2 counts of first-degree reckless homicide for shooting 2 teenagers in a car near 37th and Scott on Milwaukee's southwest side. 15-year-old Exiel Rivera died at the scene, and 18-year-old Naya Vasquez died in the hospital. Morris has been arrested, but police are still searching for Taylor. You can see his photo on our website, WTMJ.com. Sean Brenda, WTMJ News.
Meanwhile, new body cam video showing the moment a Milwaukee police officer shot a child sexual assault suspect January 6th. That was near 7th and Arthur on the city's south side. The video shows the officer shooting 19-year-old Emilio Arner Ortiz once before making an arrest. Arner Ortiz now faces multiple felony counts. His preliminary hearing is today. The officer involved in the shooting is still on administrative leave.
The young man accused of setting fire to Congressman Glenn Grothman's district office in Fond du Lac heads to court today. The 19-year-old from Menasha is expected to be charged with arson. Police say he admitted to setting the fire in response to the TikTok ban that was briefly implemented over the weekend. Back in 2022, Congressman Grothman joined other Republican lawmakers in urging Governor Tony Evers to ban the app on government devices here in Wisconsin. Congressman Grothman says the defendant had no prior contact with his office.
A former teacher has been arrested for child enticement. Daniel Rick from Jackson, arrested earlier this month on allegations of inappropriate behavior with the student dating back to November of last year. Rick used to be a teacher at Christ Alone Lutheran School in Thiensville, now facing multiple felony charges. Cash bond set at $100,000. He's due in court February 10th.
The remains of a U.S. Air Force pilot from Wisconsin who went missing nearly 60 years ago have been identified.
Lieutenant Colonel Donald Downing of Columbus, Wisconsin, was flying an F-4C Phantom II aircraft over Vietnam during a reconnaissance mission back in 1967 when his plane disappeared. Search and rescue efforts yielded nothing, and just last year, a recovery team found aircraft wreckage and bone tissue at a site in Vietnam. DNA testing confirmed it was Downing's. His funeral will be held at Arlington National Cemetery. No date's been set. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather, including a game cancellation, coming up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:33.
I know, it's here. It's January. WTMJ's John Mercure here. If you have the January blues, brighten up your day with a free prime rib dinner tonight at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club, voted the best supper club in the area. When you buy one prime rib dinner, you get a second prime rib dinner free. Or order anything on the menu, your second dinner is always free. Desserts and those huge ice cream drinks. Buy one, get one free. Sip on an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, a bourbon, or choose from over 100 wines on a brand new wine list. The Fox and Hounds is in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. It is truly a one-of-a-kind gem. The holiday decorations are still up. Check them out. Thousands of lights, Christmas characters. It is a must-see, and those 7 wood-burning fireplaces will keep you warm and cozy on a cold January night. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. The drive is beautiful. The restaurant is spectacular this time of year. Enjoy your free prime rib dinner tonight. Reserve at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Milwaukee Bucks get a snow day in New Orleans. Just announced the game against the Pelicans tonight is now postponed because of snowy conditions in the Big Easy. No word yet on a makeup game, but we'll keep you posted. Another former Brewer is heading to Cooperstown. Pitcher CC Sabathia received 342 votes and is one of 3 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame's 2025 class. During his 3 months in Milwaukee, Sabathia helped lead the team to the postseason in 2008, snapping the franchise's 25-year playoff drought. And tonight, UW-Milwaukee men's basketball travels to Dayton, Ohio for a showdown with Wright State.
Let's get to the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time-saver traffic. In a word, woof. We have got a lot going on right now. Let's start in Waukesha County 94. We have multiple crashes impacting the stretch between Highway 83 and Highway 67 in both directions. It's quite slow as we still have a band of snow that's basically parked right over that spot right now. So everything is running slow in both directions there. Also, 4145 South, right near Watertown Plank Road, has multiple incidents as well. We had an earlier multi-vehicle crash. Now we've got the left lane blocked due to a separate incident heading south towards the zoo. Also on 894 North near Lincoln Avenue, left lane blocked due to a crash in just a few minutes ago. Also another crash, 794 East near Broadway, right lane blocked due to an incident over there. So be mindful as this snow moves through. It's not heavy, but it's blowing around. It is making for slick roads across the system.
And here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast today. Scattered snow showers, less than an inch though. We're not getting a ton. It's still breezy out there, and that's making it feel colder. We have a high of 24. Tonight, snow early, clearing late, low of 13. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high of 20. Friday, mostly sunny, high of 23. And then Saturday, it's going to feel a lot better. We have a high of 36 on Saturday, mostly cloudy. Sunday, mostly sunny, and a high of 28. We're now up to 14 degrees in Milwaukee. Okay, Adam, the boat show is back in Milwaukee.
Oh, yes, indeed.
My husband always loves to go. Every single year we go. And the last couple of years, I have scheduled us going around the time when Twiggy, the world-famous water skiing squirrel, is going to be there. This year, we did not do that. We went early because I knew that I had booked Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, to be here in the studio today, so I wasn't going to miss out. But this is just a blast. We have Charles Best, Twiggy's owner, here with us today. This story, this is one of those things. I was in TV news for about 2 decades, and at the end of the show, Twiggy every single year would be our kicker, as we called it. It was that fun way just to end the show. And if you're streaming us now, you can see some video I took of Twiggy at the boat show at the Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center in years past. It's just the best. It makes people smile. It makes people laugh. Charles and Twiggy, thanks for being here today.
Oh, thanks for having us. Always a fun time when we come to Milwaukee with below zero. I'm a Floridian, so this is even better.
Oh, man. How does Twiggy do? I mean, we have squirrels here who, live in Wisconsin and deal with the weather, but Twiggy's not used to it.
No, she does great because she's inside the warmth of a hotel most of the time, so she doesn't even really get bothered much by the cold weather.
So does Twiggy get room service in these hotels where she stays?
That's me. I do all the room service.
You get the room service. Oh, you're bringing the room service.
All the snacks and everything, yeah, for sure.
So take us back, because Twiggy has been around for a long time. This all started as a joke. How did Twiggy get going?
So it was actually my parents, Chuck and Luann Best. They first were given a squirrel that they rescued and basically became a pet. And a little while longer, my dad bought a remote control boat for my oldest sister, and he was out playing with the boat on the river when a friend of his came over to him and said, "Chuck, you didn't buy that boat for your daughter, you bought it for yourself." My dad wasn't going to own up to it and joked back to the guy and said, "No, I'm learning to drive the boat to teach my pet squirrel how to water ski."
What?
And it took off. He put it in the local newspaper, and pretty much within a year's time, he was on Real People, That's Incredible, You Asked For It, all the 80s shows that I didn't get to see when I wasn't even born yet. But it took off and started doing shows across the country. And long story short, my dad lost his life in a boating accident. But now,
oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
But now Twiggy is a spokes animal for water safety, sponsored by Progressive, to make sure that everyone's wearing their life jacket and traveling the country, making sure everyone's safe on the water. So
you have an important message in the midst of all the fun. How do people take to that?
I think it's heartfelt. I think that Twiggy is a fun show. Like it's an exciting show, all kinds of new things all the time, because you never know what a squirrel's going to do. But I think the message resonates because of the fact that Twiggy's so cute and putting the message out there, and of course the story behind it.
Okay, you just said you never know what Twiggy's going to do. So what has Twiggy done during some shows?
Ooh, well, let's see. Twiggy always has a trick, I will tell you that, but you have to come to the show to see it. But just last week, she actually jumped out and I had to chase her for about 5 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
I've had one show, this is a long time ago, that we actually had a Twiggy jump out of doing a news story, jumped out, went into the tallest tree that she could find, and we had to call the fire department to get her out.
Oh, my goodness. We have a request, by the way. Our producer is asking, and I'm not sure if she wants it in like a Simba way, like, oh, but asking if you can just lift Twiggy.
Oh, for sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Twiggy seems so calm.
She is.
Is that how she always gets?
This is Twiggy number 10. Twiglet is her real name.
Oh.
She's 7 years old, and she was my first squirrel when I took over after my mom retired. So
oh, wow.
Definitely.
So she's a special one for you.
She is, yes.
How did you guys make that decision that we're going to keep Twiggy going, this tradition? Because it could have been one and done with your dad.
I knew, because I had a business and marketing background, that there was more to what Twiggy could be, especially with social media. So when I was like, I really want to see what I can do with it. My goal is to basically make a Twiggy fun center, because we started in a roller skating industry. So I want to make the whole Twiggy image. We're working on a Twiggy cartoon that's coming soon on YouTube. We've got a documentary. And actually, we just found out Twiggy actually has a Bitcoin as well, a meme coin. So you can actually buy Twiggy
Twiggy
now.
is in crypto now?
Twiggy yes. It's kind of exciting. I don't know much about it, but I was super excited to find out.
Wait, what do you mean you just found out? You're the owner of Twiggy. How do you not know?
They
What do
called
you
me.
know?
I was like, hey, we want to do this to help donate to your cause, and help with what we're doing. So super exciting. I'm stoked about it. Just to see, I don't know how Bitcoin works.
So you've got like the Doge coin with the dog, and then you have Twiggy. That's fascinating. I don't know. Some people are out there going like, that sounds like a scam.
I hope no. I hope not. The guy that's behind it has been very helpful as far as to tell me as far as how to help grow my business and wanting to donate to me, and I'm very hopeful that it's going to be great things.
Well, that's good because we were just talking before you came in about the skills you wish you knew when you were growing up that you didn't necessarily get. So it's good to know that whoever is working on this seems to have their head in a good place.
Correct. Yeah. No, he's definitely been helping me a lot with what I'm doing, and giving me good advice. So I definitely appreciate him.
So, big question. How do you teach a squirrel to water ski?
And here's the fun part about that. I have a new squirrel. I didn't bring him today, named Trio. We're training him in the show. So you'll actually get to see the training in the show. But we start out on dry land, put the skis there, get him to stay, give him affection, and then we'll start on the water. Right now we're on the water. We did get him skiing about a quarter to maybe a half a lap, but he's a little squirrely still. So we're right
I see
back
what you
to
did
just,
there.
Yeah, I know, right? Got to. But yeah, right now we're just on the water, standing still at the moment. He's still like trying to figure it out, but he's doing good. And if you come to the show, you'll actually see the training firsthand.
Okay, can you give one more, like real high up in the air? What do you get out of this? Because, I mean, you've got kids there, you've got adults and old people galore who are just get the biggest kick out of this. What does this do for you? Because you're not just staying down in Florida, you're going all around up here to cold Wisconsin and Milwaukee to do this.
I mean, first off, yes, this is my full-time job, but I think being able to promote water safety in a positive way, that's my whole purpose. That was my mom's purpose, and when I took it over, I basically have been able to now. Twiggy's now the actual spokes animal for the Wear It campaign nationally and the Coast Guard. So there's a lot more than just the show itself, and just basically like the cartoon that we're working on. All of that is basically to continue the promotion of water safety.
That is so great. The cartoon, too. I love that.
So I'm curious. We saw the video on our live stream of Twiggy doing the laps around the pool, and I noticed the Twiggy-sized life preserver along her shoulders. Is there someone that makes specially for you these tiny squirrel life jackets?
My mom. She made it out of a beer koozie, to be honest.
Oh, that is so apt for where we are.
So do you just have one then, or do you have a bunch of those that your mom made?
I've probably got about 20 sitting in a box. And we've kept a lot throughout the years, but I mean, we just made 3 more to go on the road. But yeah, she's always making a life jacket.
So Twiggy or Trio, these squirrels, when they're not doing their thing, when they're not on the water skiing and promoting water safety, are they like a pet at home, or what's life like for Twiggy?
So, this morning, let them out of the hotel room. They're running around. Trio usually is the one that's pestering me, and I mean, he was doing backflips like, all right, let me out, or waking me up at 7 o'clock, and then we let him out. He basically just wants to be on you. The baby usually is just wanting to be petted, but they're running around being just normal pets.
Are you surprised at how far Twiggy has gone? I mean, I was talking at the start of this, the kicker on the news, and now with social media and YouTube and just the power of one video at a show, how that can just go wild.
It's every day is different as far as, because we just did a Snoop Dogg video that went viral, and Snoop Dogg shared it on his page.
And he'll do anything, won't he?
He will.
He's all over the place.
He's great.
2024 was the year of Snoop Dogg, and we'll see if it continues.
Yeah, for sure. But we did a Call of Duty commercial and a GoPro commercial all last year. Everything just keeps on continuing. We did the Nickelodeon TV show. Disney, they called us out of the blue. They just wanted to do a music video. Honestly, the between Anchorman, Dodgeball, all the movies, all the TV shows, it just comes out of nowhere. We're like, wow, like I think it's spam most of the time. Because, I mean, if you look at your email box, you're like, wait a minute, that can't be real. And it usually is when it comes to me.
I feel like a Twiggy Bluey duo or crossover episode could be in the works in the future, and that would be a smash. Because if I had $1 for every time I've seen Bluey on a TV just walking through somewhere, I'd have more than $1. So it's crazy that it happens.
What's funny on SpongeBob, the squirrel in SpongeBob, Sandy ended up skiing as well. So you never know. Bluey might be water skiing soon.
That was a great SpongeBob reference, by the way. I'm picturing the episode now where they're sliding down this ski hill made of sand. I'm just, wow, you hit a core memory for me right there.
There you go.
I don't know how to say that.
Meanwhile, I'm like out. I'm just watching the video of the water skiing squirrel. Back to that. Hey, I know there's some people right now who are like, oh, that's a blast. I'm going to go to the boat show anyways. I want to be there when Twiggy's going to be there doing her shows. When can people check out the Twiggy show at the boat show?
So we're doing 2 shows, 3 and 6 today until Friday. And then we have 4 shows on Saturday and 3 shows on Sunday. But I will tell you this. If you're going to see the show, you've got to get there early. There's usually people waiting about an hour, hour and a half, just sitting in the bleachers waiting for the show to start.
Isn't that wild? Got to get a good seat. You want to be up there close.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, well, we better let you go because Twiggy's got a show to do coming up in just a couple of hours here. One more dun-dun-dun-dun for Twiggy, for all the people streaming. I love it. Well, thank you so much for having a lot of fun with this, but also promoting water safety because it's really important.
Yes, very important. And, hopefully we'll see you at the show.
Yeah, have a blast here in Milwaukee. Thank you, Twiggy, as well. It's 11:49. We're back after this.
Catch up on Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Tighe.
It's not the extension of pumpkin spice season. No, it is not a maple cold foam cold brew with artichoke.
In the mornings, Greg will typically drink an iced coffee, a cold coffee. Gina does hot coffee, and then I do tea.
By listening to the Wisconsin's Midday News podcast.
Darkness Retreat isn't for me. Ayahuasca's probably not for me.
Sponsored by Siding Unlimited.
Imagine all the things you dream of under one roof. You're thinking of eBay. Fashion, collectibles, car parts. It's all there. Go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
During your career, investments piled up. From 401ks to brokerage accounts, it turned into quite a collection. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe every portfolio tells a story. We've analyzed thousands. Some reflect diligence and fortitude. Others, a mishmash of overlapping investments. When Annex reviews a portfolio, we spot what works, what might not, and then provide unbiased suggestions. Every portfolio tells a story. Let's work on yours. Investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary. That's our story. Head to AnnexWealth.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Eric Bilstead. As we ring in 2025, are you heading into the new year with the same old joint pain? It's time to make a resolution, to get moving again. No more achy joints for your knees, your hips, shoulders, or your back. You're going to call QC Kinetics in 2025, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. Got locations in Greenfield and Mequon under the leadership of Medical Director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions. So many of your neighbors here in Milwaukee are living life again without the constant pain in their joints. Here's what you do. Resolve to get lasting relief in 2025. Call QC Kinetics today, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today. Happy New Year.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
As part of his first round of actions in office, President Donald Trump just announced a new partnership investing $500 billion in AI infrastructure. The president said OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank are creating a joint venture called Stargate.
Beginning immediately, Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers, very, very massive structures.
So President Trump said Stargate is expected to create more than 100,000 American jobs through the creation of AI plants. And then you just heard it there, colossal data centers across the country. You can expect to see more of these AI infrastructure projects cropping up over the next few years. In fact, right here in Wisconsin, the push for AI data centers has already started.
That's right, Jessica. This is big stuff. It's big business, number one, and it's also jobs and it's infrastructure, it's construction, the whole gambit. And we're seeing it play out in multiple locations right now. In Mount Pleasant, think the Microsoft AI data center. We had President Biden last year touting that over $3 billion with a B. And you'll note that when he was praising that project, he also referenced another notable tech investment, which ultimately did not come to fruition in the region, that being Foxconn.
They wasted hundreds of millions of dollars of your state and local tax dollars to promise a project that never happened. Foxconn turned out to be just that, a con.
Now, it's important to note a subsidiary has acquired some land in the area around the Foxconn facility. Not sure, though, what the plans are for that land. And so you can understand that people are a little apprehensive, especially if you live around that area. You have concerns about promises that may never come to fruition. And we're seeing that play out right now in Port Washington, too. You heard it on the morning news earlier today. There's an AI data center that's being planned for that area. 2,000 acres. It's a big slot for a Houston-based company called Cloverleaf. And there's an interesting wrinkle to this as well. In order to make this happen, the city of Port Washington has to annex part of the town. Remember hearing hundreds of years ago, the city of Milwaukee would annex surrounding communities to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, that's playing out now in Port Washington. And as you can imagine, residents are a little apprehensive and skeptical.
It's not what I signed up for. I'm out of here. Most of us are here tonight because we feel you're not listening to us.
I'm hearing that there are pros and cons to this, but I haven't seen those listed anywhere and itemized.
I think it takes such hubris to make a decision like this without listening to the people impacted.
So a lot of the issues, you've got your impact to home value, light and noise pollution, and also what's going to happen to your energy rates as well. A lot of things to consider.
Yeah, light and noise pollution, in other cases, totally different, not AI, but I'm thinking when people think about their homes and, something's coming in some cases, it was the smell as well. Impact to their home value, that's always a big one. But I guess at the end of the day, if something is coming, I always feel like if it's set in stone and is coming, you want it to succeed, right? And a lot of these big companies you don't have to worry about. With Foxconn had a reputation to begin with. I remember when we first started reporting on Foxconn, I was looking back through history and some of the things that they had promised in other areas around the country, and I saw that it never happened. Or there was a building with like 7 people in it, and it was supposed to bring all these jobs. Foxconn had a reputation before we even did.
And to that point, this project is looking to attract like another Microsoft or a Meta. So as you mentioned, one of those bigger names, they say it'll be about 100 jobs to the region. And things are very early on. They've agreed to the annexing, but we still have a lot to go before any shovels, golden or otherwise, go in the ground.
Top local news coming up next.
Wisconsin's hometown pizza is Palermo's. Greg Matzik here. One name, synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza. It's Palermo's, made right here in Wisconsin and celebrating its 60-year anniversary in 2024. That is decade upon decade of doing it right, and that's what Palermo's does. Find Palermo's wherever you like to shop. Festival Foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, Woodman's. And then try and make up your mind on which Palermo's frozen pizzas to buy. There's Connie's and Urban Pie. My personal favorite, the Screamin' Sicilian. The best frozen pizza you will ever have. Made proudly in Wisconsin by Palermo's. Flavor is their family's business. It's Wisconsin's hometown pizza. Palermo's. Pick up a few. Put some in the freezer, then put one in the oven tonight on the table for dinner. I'm telling you, everybody's going to be happy. Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, celebrating 60 years of doing it right in the state of Wisconsin. Celebrate tonight with Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Save big money on your bathroom upgrade now at Menards. Transform your bathroom with our great selection of Lion showers, bathtubs, and surrounds that match your style and budget. Lions knows how important design and function are. Their acrylic products offer strength and beauty that you can rely on for years to come. Check out our entire selection of Lions bathroom products today on Menards.com. Plus, view the weekly flyer for other great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Accident Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Market Watcher Brian Wickert. Well, a lot of folks have buying a home on their New Year's resolution list, and while national news headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, I'm afraid that's just not the case in most of Wisconsin. So how do you make your offer stand out from the others so that someone else doesn't end up sleeping in your dream home? Well, it takes a team of a good real estate agent and a mortgage lender who has all the tools and techniques to help make your offer as attractive as possible in the eyes of that seller. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet, rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that might also come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. We'll also help you understand exactly what it means in dollars and cents if you do decide to offer over asking or give that seller some appraisal wiggle room. All you have to do to get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Built Right, one location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 22nd. I'm Jessica Tighe. Your top story, troops on the move towards the border.
I'm Adam Roberts. Official charges for a Fond du Lac fire.
Scattered snow showers today, less than an inch of snow, breezy, and that breeze, the wind, is what's making it still feel pretty cold out there. We have a high of 24, though, today. Tonight, snow early, clearing late, low of 13. Tomorrow, high at 20, and partly cloudy. Let's take a peek. We started the show at 11 degrees, we went up to 14, and that's where we are right now. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the Trump administration is preparing to send troops to the southern border. CBS's Cammie McCormick reports.
The Pentagon will begin deploying up to 1,500 active duty troops in the coming days. The order will be signed by the acting defense secretary. The Homeland Security Department is also preparing to begin targeted raids in cities with high numbers of undocumented immigrants.
Mexico says they disagree with the latest Trump initiatives, but remain ready to receive Mexican nationals.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration calling for the end of birthright citizenship and the deportation of all undocumented migrants. And that has people in Wisconsin asking questions. Director of the Les Aspen Center for Government, Dr. Paul Nolet, telling WTMJ the National Guard could be used to find undocumented migrants in Wisconsin.
If the feds actually are sent in, or there's a nationalized National Guard, then Tony Evers and other governors who want to push back on that, they're going to have a lot more limited options. Because if the federal government itself is enforcing Trump's executive orders or federal immigration law, then it wouldn't be constitutional for the states to stand in their way.
Nolet says monitoring how potential raids in Chicago play out could give some keys as to how raids may work if they happen in Wisconsin.
The young man accused of intentionally setting fire to Congressman Glenn Grothman's district office in Fond du Lac is now charged. 19-year-old Caden Stakowitz from Menasha was just in court today. He faces 3 felony charges, including arson, making a terrorist threat, and attempted burglary, along with misdemeanor criminal damage to property. Police say he admitted to setting the fire in response to the TikTok ban. In 2022, Grothman joined other Republican lawmakers in urging Governor Tony Evers to ban the app on government devices here in Wisconsin. Grothman says the defendant had no prior contact with his office.
Speaking of Governor Evers, he will be laying out a plan for Wisconsin in the next year during the annual State of the State address tonight. The governor set to lay out the state's policy priorities for the next year in the speech, including plans to help lower costs for working families, reducing crime and preventing gun violence, and also investing in the health and well-being of kids while improving classroom outcomes. Governor Evers' speech from Madison begins at 7 o'clock.
With the bitter cold slowly working its way out of southeastern Wisconsin, now comes the snow. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore says while accumulations will be limited, road impacts are likely tonight.
It comes along that warm front. Overall for today, we're looking at under an inch of snowfall. The models keep some of that light snowfall activity going for today. It will be a very light, fluffy snow, so it's going to blow around pretty easily with those gusty winds out of the southwest, but enough to cause a couple slippery spots as our high temperatures hit the 20s for today.
Yeah, heads up, be careful. Your complete WTMJ 5-day forecast coming up in just minutes.
Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Little bit down for the Dow from where they were when we started the show, but still up on the day, up 100 points at 44,126. The NASDAQ up 286 now at 20,043, and the S&P 500 is up 44 points at 6,094. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
The Milwaukee Bucks get a snow day. We'll explain next. Sports, traffic, and weather right after this. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One Collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One Collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One Collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
A cancer diagnosis shouldn't mean we can't make plans. It shouldn't mean living without joy or optimism. Cancer shouldn't be calling the shots. At the Frederick and the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Network, we're pushing to put cancer in its place by pulling together teams of leading specialists and researchers who work tirelessly for breakthroughs, who are developing innovative ways to treat every cancer, to treat your cancer. And by providing the largest cancer clinical trials treatment program in Wisconsin. So there are more treatment options and more reasons to be hopeful. So let's keep innovating. Let's keep discovering. Let's push to make every cancer diagnosis a story of survivorship and bring back the lightness of life that cancer takes away. To learn more about breakthrough cancer care, visit Frederick.com/cancer.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Milwaukee Bucks get a snow day in New Orleans, of all places. Just announced tonight's game against the Pelicans is postponed because of snowy conditions in the Big Easy. Another former Brewer is heading to Cooperstown. Pitcher CC Sabathia received 342 votes and is one of 3 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame's 2025 class. During his 3 months in Milwaukee, Sabathia helped lead the team to the postseason in 2008, snapping a 25-year playoff drought for the Brewers. It was an easy win for Marquette men's basketball last night, 76-59 over Seton Hall. Next up, a home game against Villanova on Friday. And the 18th-ranked Wisconsin men took it down to the wire against UCLA, but came up just short to the Bruins, 85-83. The Badgers are off until a Sunday home game against Nebraska. Badger Sports Updates sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more.
Checking the roads now, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Still with some issues on 94 East in Waukesha County. Just south of Oconomowoc is where we're having these problems, and stretching between 67 and Highway, looks like 16. You're going to be having some issues as we've got multiple crashes and slippery conditions due to the snow falling right now. Elsewhere, still crashes causing issues on 894 North, left lane, blocked due to a crash at Lincoln Avenue that has backup stretching all the way towards Beloit Road. Also, 794 near Broadway, the right shoulder blocked due to a crash there, and still a slow go on 4145 South, left lane blocked due to a crash at Watertown Plank Road. That is backup stretching towards Burleigh and adding a few extra minutes as you head towards the zoo.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Scattered snow showers today. When we're talking about the snow, though, it's not a lot, less than an inch. It is still windy, and that's impacting what it feels like outside. We have a high of 24, but it's not necessarily going to feel like that. Still, a lot better than the last couple days. Tonight, snow early, clearing late. We'll dip down to 13 degrees. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 20. Friday, mostly sunny and a high of 23. And look at this. On Saturday, we have a high of 36. Mostly cloudy, chance for flurries on Saturday. Sunday, mostly sunny and a high of 28. It's currently 14 degrees in Milwaukee.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Tighe, and in for Greg Matzik, it's Adam Roberts.
I'm thinking back to our last hour. If you missed us, you can always go to our podcast, remember, and you can always check us out on YouTube as well. We had, amongst all the hard news, the world-famous water skiing squirrel right here in the studio for Wisconsin's Midday News, Twiggy.
And you got to take a picture with Twiggy afterwards and even got to hold the little guy, which was quite a sight to see.
You're in that picture, too. It's a frame.
I am in the picture, yes.
But yes, I did get to hold Twiggy, and I don't know, it doesn't feel so natural to hold a squirrel, right?
Well,
We're used to here in Wisconsin just seeing the squirrels go by. You know, my dog's like, whoa, there's a squirrel. Wants to go run after it. We're not used to holding the squirrel. But yeah, it's one talented squirrel.
Absolutely.
Imagine teaching a squirrel to water ski.
And so widely ranged, too. All the different things that Twiggy is branching out into, not just water skiing. What a crazy career.
Yeah, we got breaking news. There's going to be a Twiggy cartoon, possibly even, though this one, I don't know, we got to wait to see on this one, but possibly Twiggy going into the crypto world. I said, that sounds like a scam. Not on their part, but, someone reaching out saying, hey, we want to do this. But yeah, lots of good stuff here. But let's get to the news of the day.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
The clock is ticking, and we're not talking about TikTok this time. President Donald Trump has signed an order shuttering DEI offices across the federal government. It's doors closed, email off at 4 p.m. our time today. But as ABC's Stephen Portnoy reports, Trump's order goes further, taking a historic policy off the books.
The president's anti-DEI order also strikes affirmative action policies that date to the early 1960s.
It is not enough just to open the gates of opportunity.
Lyndon Johnson's order requiring that federal contractors take affirmative action to ensure non-discrimination survived 6 Republican presidencies, including the first term of Donald Trump. But Trump has now revoked it and signed an order suggesting the government will now scrutinize efforts to promote diversity in private sector hiring. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
And stay with us. Coming up at 12:37, we're going to chat with CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. We talk with him every Wednesday, and we're going to check in on Capitol Hill. Like, what's the process for these offices closing, and what exactly is happening to the workers now?
New details in today following a burglary at Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow's home earlier this year. Police in Ohio now say 4 men are in custody. Burrow, of course, one of a handful of high-profile athletes to have been targeted over the last few months in these burglaries. You had Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and arguably the one that started it all was our own guy, Bucs star Bobby Portis, who had his home burglarized in November while he was playing a game at Fiserv Forum against the Cavaliers. ABC's Will Reeve.
Burrow, one of a number of athletes victim to a string of robberies. Now, 4 Chilean nationals facing charges after they were apprehended by an Ohio State highway patrolman who spotted suspicious luggage being carried to a vehicle outside a hotel, according to court records. The officer pulling the car over. 3 of the 4 men inside allegedly presenting fake IDs. Upon searching the vehicle, the officer says he discovered tools which burglars use to break glass, along with an old shirt from LSU, where Burrow starred in college, and a Bengals hat, both believed to have been taken from Burrow's home.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty dead giveaway if you pull over a couple of people looking suspicious and suddenly see an LSU and a Cincinnati Bengals thing, and you happen to know, this is around where this was happening before. Kind of seems like a dead giveaway. By the way, we do expect more details on the burglary at Portis' home. That coming from the River Hills Police Department later this week.
Warming up in Wisconsin. We've kicked those cold weather advisories and warnings to the curb. We're in the double digits now. Still cold, though. The gusty wind is making it rough yet. Unique weather across the country right now. People on the Gulf Coast are digging out after a winter storm that set all-time records. Beaches in Alabama are blanketed in snow. Louisiana sent out its first ever blizzard warnings. New Orleans shattered its one-day snowfall record with more than 8 inches. The French Quarter buried in snow. ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z.
Pensacola ended up with 7.6 inches of snow. That is the most snow that they have ever recorded at that beach since records began in the 1800s. Amazing to see all of those numbers along the Gulf Coast. Many of them, if not the most in a century, the most ever.
Just to see the video and the pictures coming out of these southern areas, snow on the beaches. They're not used to that, and we're not used to seeing it.
I think the graphic that really kind of hit the home for me on this, we had Tyler Moore on earlier this morning on Channel 4. He showed a graphic. In Milwaukee this winter, we've had 10.5 inches total of snow. In Lafayette, Louisiana, in this one storm, they had the exact same amount, 10.5 inches.
Wow. I love, too, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. It's some cool video. Milwaukee Bucks announcer Lisa Byington, she tweeted out, because the Bucks, they're in New Orleans right now. We just had the breaking news that the game tonight is being postponed because of the snow. Well, the Bucks get there last night, right? And then Lisa has some video down in New Orleans, kind of looks like around Bourbon Street, in the main area, and there's the snow, and people are just having a blast with it. And they say that it's the first time they've ever even seen snow for most of these people who are playing in it.
Which is just so bizarre to think about, as we are used to almost every other day, it seems, seeing flurries of some kind, though not so much recently.
And then my favorite part, there's at one point, you get the snowy streets, there's a van rolling down, and then you look at the passenger, and he's playing some jazz music. He's got like a trombone just out the window.
Quintessential New Orleans.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us for Wisconsin's Midday News. It's 12:16.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Higginson, Saturday afternoon at 2. Tune in each week as John exposes industry myths for truth seekers looking to navigate their way to financial freedom. What he reveals may surprise you. To learn more about the show and how creative planning can help you build a custom financial plan and portfolio tailored to you and your goals, visit creativeplanning.com/radio. Don't settle for outdated advice. Your money deserves better, and so do you.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief, because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Hey, it's Vince Vitrano. John Mercure here. Wait, does that car say Pella on the side? What's Gina Della doing here?
Sorry, I'm late.
We're on the air in 3, 2...
Recognize my voice?
get used to it.
Talk all things Windows, business, and being a boss in more ways than one with Gina Della Frapella's very own show right here on WTMJ. Starting February 1st, tune into What's the Difference every Saturday morning at 6:30 or stream anytime on WTMJ.com.
What a tease.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanner's Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanner's has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanner's, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanner's in West Dallas, Grafton, or at Flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Within just hours of being sworn in, President Trump signed a flurry of executive orders. He issued more executive orders on day one than any president before. What do you think about them all? Are you saying good, go for it? Are you saying, hold up, this seems to be pushing the limits of presidential power? 538 senior elections analyst Nathaniel Rakich is checking the pulse of Americans. Thanks for joining us, Nathaniel.
Thanks for having me.
Here at 620 WTMJ in Milwaukee, we just open up the phone lines or the text line to find out what people think. But over at 538, you do it more scientifically.
Yeah, so, we study the polls and what Americans tell pollsters about what they think about, issues like immigration and the economy and all the things that Trump just issued executive orders on.
So let's start with the executive order to end birthright citizenship, a right guaranteed in the Constitution. How are people feeling about that one?
Yeah, so what's interesting is that a lot of the immigration-related executive orders that Trump issued, like declaring a national emergency at the border, that's popular. Americans are not happy with the state of immigration and they want a crackdown. But in terms of ending birthright citizenship, that is unpopular. I think Americans do have a sense for the fact that this is enshrined in the Constitution. So a New York Times poll found that Americans opposed that executive order 55% to 41%.
President Trump also pardoned rioters who breached the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, seeking to overturn the results of the 2020 election. What are you finding there?
Yeah, this was one of the most unpopular orders that Trump did. There were two polls that were conducted on this that I could find, and they both found, or one of them found 62% of Americans opposed, and one found 57% of Americans opposed. So notably, that has to include at least a few Americans who voted for Trump would still oppose that.
You have some incredibly important topics like January 6th, of course, and immigration. And then you have TikTok. Now, don't get me wrong. It is important because you're talking about free speech and you're talking about national security, but it kind of goes in a different direction here. And you have a lot of people, too, who, especially here in the Milwaukee area, we had one local influencer who told us he gets more than 40% of his income from TikTok. So this is important to a lot of people. What did you find out as far as the ban? We have another executive order here that blocks the enforcement of a ban on TikTok.
Yeah, so those people who, are pro-TikTok, they're actually in the minority. So only 22% of Americans oppose the TikTok ban. 44% of Americans support it. Now, of course, that still leaves a pretty hefty 34% who aren't quite sure. Maybe they just don't know what TikTok is, or it's just not a big part of their lives, since it is such a small user base. But yeah, generally speaking, Americans are opposed to Trump's executive order kind of bringing TikTok back.
One of the things that you could watch during the inauguration, you could kind of look out and catch people's eyes and see how they felt about this. When President Trump said that he wanted to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, you had a lot of people clapping. Yes, we like that. And then you had other people like Hillary Clinton giving the eye roll and laughing. What are Americans? What are Nancy and Bob down the street saying about that?
Yeah, that was actually the most unpopular one of his executive actions, at least based on the polls that I could find. 72% of Americans are opposed to renaming the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know if that is because, they think it's a silly idea, or they just don't want to learn, a new name for in geography class. But yeah, that one, Americans flatly reject that.
Any other ones that really stuck out to you or that you were surprised about?
I would say that maybe the withdrawing from the Paris Climate Change Accord, that is obviously one of these more serious topics, and I think didn't get some of the headlines that some of Trump's other executive orders did, but he did withdraw us from those commitments to lower greenhouse gas emissions. And that is also pretty unpopular with the American public. They do think that we should be doing more sustainable energy. So 52% of Americans oppose withdrawal from the Paris Accords, and only 21% support it.
When you look at the overall picture, when you look at these individually and you kind of put them together, do you see that Americans believe, okay, we're okay, or that, you know what, President Trump might be pushing the limits on presidential power?
Yeah, I think it does come down to immigration versus everything else, right? Americans voted for basically two things. They told us in poll after poll that their top priorities were lowering inflation and cracking down on the border. And obviously, Trump is really narrowing in on cracking down on the border, and he's done a lot of executive orders to do that. That part will be popular, and if he sticks to that, I think he will be in good shape politically. It's this other stuff that does, I think, threaten to create distractions for him and maybe make him less popular, because I think a lot of Americans are saying, well, hold up, we elected you to do basically two things. All this other stuff we didn't ask for.
538 senior elections analyst Nathaniel Rakich checking the pulse of Americans. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wisconsin winters are unpredictable.
This is history. Never had a tornado touchdown in February.
We keep you updated on blizzards.
Winter storm warning has been issued for all of southeast Wisconsin, and it's going to get really, really dicey.
Blackouts.
Tens of thousands of customers across southeast Wisconsin are without power this morning.
Icy roads.
Very, very slick conditions pretty much everywhere.
And more with WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team alerts on air and at WTMJ.com.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
Perfect day on the ice, huh, Pat? Ice auger, fishing rod, portable generator, and that genius pizza oven. Pepperoni's ready.
For frozen lakes, toasty crusts, and everything in between, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Like $60 off a Milwaukee Drill Driver Combo Kit and select Nutrichomps dog chews, buy one, get one half price. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Dave.
The campus is beautiful. For me, nature is my church, and I love being outside. We live by the Bark River, and it's calming. It just calms my soul. I just love it. A lot of the people, I'm talking about 100-year-old people, they credit Three Pillars with living longer.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Oscar nominations are out tomorrow, and critics, they're placing their bets. Here's CBS's Deborah Rodriguez.
The Pope is dead.
Conclave, The Brutalist, Emilia Perez, Dune Part 2, and Anora are high on most critics' lists for Best Picture.
15 cash up front.
Deal. Critics expect Wicked, The Substance, and A Complete Unknown will probably make the cut too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Dylan.
A possible snub.
Since you've been in custody, you've been involved in the theater program.
Sing Sing, which could also get a surprise nomination, along with A Real Pain. Coleman Domingo, Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet, Ray Fiennes, Demi Moore, Cynthia Erivo, and Carla Sofia Gascon are all expected in the Best Acting categories. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
You see any of those?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, no.
I have not. Wicked was on the short list because it was Wicked. Like, you have to see Wicked. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I should go to the movie theater more than I do, because this year has some pretty good films, especially Nosferatu at the end of the year. But I don't know. It always falls down my priority list for some reason.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't seen many movies in a long time. Fun fact, my husband and I have never gone to the movie theater together.
Really?
Isn't that strange?
That is very strange.
Of all of the things that we do, I always say that. I'm like, have we ever gone to the movies? I did, though, see Wicked, and Wicked was wonderful. My mom really wanted to see it. I was visiting her, so my mom and I and my uncle went. That was kind of cool, too, because my mom and I and my little sister, back in the day, we went to go see Wicked on Broadway. So that was kind of neat for me to remember back then and go to this. So that was kind of a nice little tradition there. I thought Wicked was nice. I will not be surprised if Wicked racks up some Some great awards, but the other ones I have not seen. Maybe you have. The awards, by the way, postponed because of the Southern California wildfires. They're going to be handed out on March 2nd, but the nominations coming out tomorrow. It's 12:27. Coming up next, it's your local headlines and national news.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
Siding is what pops on your home. Clean lines, beautiful accents, and wonderful colors can make your home really look amazing. Homeowners are always looking to add curb appeal when buying new siding, and a well-installed product from Siding Unlimited will definitely deliver a grand appeal. There is so much more to gain from replacing your siding other than the curb appeal you're already seeking. There is so much value in having new siding with low maintenance. Just an annual cleaning with the hose is all you really need to do. You can't get much lower maintenance than that. The process of replacing siding gives homeowners a fresh start, a new understanding knowing that we can peel back the old stuff and get a real in-depth inspection on the walls on your home and the structural integrity. How has the home performed over the past 20 years? We'll see it all when removing the old siding. There's a high percentage your home is missing the most important factor in siding a home, and that's a working water barrier. Many homes built in the 1990s and prior don't have a water barrier beneath the siding, and homes that were built in the 90s that do have one probably have a water barrier that was installed incorrectly. New siding replacement assures us that we install the water barrier correctly and protect the home moving forward. Our process always includes adding insulation board to the wall. This gives you a water barrier underlayment and additional R value, which is an energy coefficient, so warmer walls, adding more value to the project than the expected curb appeal. As the new siding goes back on, we know your home will be ready to manage water well into the future and look amazing doing so.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your go-to contractor here for siding and also replacement windows, roofing, and decks. Take the next step. Check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
We are coming up on 12:30 on your Wednesday, middle of the work week now. I'm Jessica Tighe. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Wednesday, January 22nd. Your top story, fiscal concerns at UW-Madison.
I'm Adam Roberts. More concerns near Lambeau Field.
Yes, let's take a look at that forecast. Woo! It's been quite a few days, but we're finally warming up.
First time we've been below zero for a wind chill, by the way, in 87 hours this afternoon.
Oh, wow, you were counting.
Yeah, I was counting the minutes.
I was just hoping to rush on through it. It is 16 degrees now. We'll take that. The thing is, it feels like it's 9 degrees below zero. We also have scattered snow showers today. Not a lot of snow, though, less than an inch. High of 24 today. Tonight, snow early, clearing late. We'll dip down to 13 degrees. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and a high of 20. But yes, we will take every single degree. We started the show at 11 degrees. We're now up to 16 degrees. Woo! Coming up right now, national news.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Getting tough with Russia. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump has said this week he thinks it's in Vladimir Putin's interest to end Russia's war against Ukraine, saying Monday in the Oval Office.
Russia's bigger. They have more soldiers to lose. But that's no way to run a country.
Today, Trump said if a deal is not made soon to end the war, he'll have no other choice but to put high levels of tariffs, taxes, and sanctions on Russia and its products. Russia is already heavily sanctioned by the U.S. because of the war in Ukraine. The president did not say what more actions he would take.
The Pentagon will begin deploying as many as 1,500 active duty troops to help secure the southern border in the coming days, say U.S. officials. The Trump administration has put a freeze on many federal health agency communications with the public through at least the end of the month. Hot, dry winds returning in Southern California, again raising fire danger, but forecasters say Saturday there could be rain. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:31.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, removing the Chief Diversity Officer at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Dr. LeVar Charleston is leaving his role as Vice Chancellor for Inclusive Excellence amid financial concerns for the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Educational Achievement. This comes after the university's internal reviews of the division's operations and fiscal judgments. Charleston has led that division for 3 years. He will remain an employee at the university, returning to his previous teaching position.
A former teacher has been arrested for child enticement. 36-year-old Daniel Rick arrested January 17th on allegations of inappropriate behavior with a student dating back to November of last year. Rick used to be a teacher at Christ Alone Lutheran in Thiensville and now faces multiple felony charges. Cash bond set at $100,000. He's due back in court February 10th.
That's new body cam video showing the moment a Milwaukee police officer shot a suspect in a child sexual assault case. This happened January 6th near 7th and Arthur on the city's south side. The video shows the officer shooting 19-year-old Emilio Arner Ortiz once before making an arrest. Arner Ortiz faces 5 felony counts, including second-degree sexual assault of a child, child enticement, and child abduction. His preliminary hearing is set for tomorrow. Today, the officer involved in the shooting is still on administrative leave.
In Green Bay,
the fact that we have a professional football team in a quaint little neighborhood, and that's been a sort of a calling card for Green Bay.
You're hearing from Rick Smith, who lives in the shadow of Lambeau Field, telling our partners at NBC 26 he's frustrated with the newly approved development coming to Lombardi Avenue and Ridge Street. Neighbors are concerned with increased traffic, stormwater drainage noise, as well as the loss of both sunlight and privacy. The property's owner, Tim Kane, says they've made multiple changes to address neighbors' concerns.
What we've done is, and Steve knows, we've done 3 pages of changes that are working with traffic.
The Green Bay Common Council approved the plans for a 5-story mixed-use building in a unanimous vote last night.
The remains of a U.S. Air Force pilot from Wisconsin who went missing nearly 60 years ago have been identified.
Lieutenant Colonel Donald Downing of Columbus, Wisconsin, was flying an F-4C Phantom II aircraft over Vietnam during a reconnaissance mission back in 1967 when his plane disappeared. Search and rescue efforts yielded nothing, and just last year, a recovery team found aircraft wreckage and bone tissue at a site in Vietnam. DNA testing confirmed it was Downing's. His funeral will be held at Arlington National Cemetery. No date's been set. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Big snow in the Big Easy leads to a game suspension. We'll have that plus the roads and your 5-day forecast next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Times, 1234.
Always still look at myself as a high-performing athlete, even at 40 years old. And so I want to go able to run and run fast and do things that I could 15 and 20 years ago. And it was getting to the point where the pain was starting to limit that.
Pain attacks people from all walks of life, not just former professional athletes like Bobby Carpenter. That's where QC Kinetics non-surgical treatment steps in.
And now that the pain is gone, I've been able to go and do the stuff that I love and run fast and run sprints and try to get back to where I was.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments use your body's own healing properties to deliver long-term relief without surgery.
Now, being able to go and work out and do the stuff that I want to do and challenge my body, it's made me a better person, a more pleasant person to be around.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. And retirement, protection, and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Milwaukee Bucks are getting a snow day in New Orleans, of all places. The game tonight against the Pelicans is postponed because of the snowy conditions in the Big Easy. No word yet on when that game is going to be moved to, but we'll keep you posted. Another former Brewer is heading to Cooperstown. Pitcher CC Sabathia received 342 votes and is one of 3 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame's 2025 class. During his 3 months here in Milwaukee, Sabathia helped lead the team to the postseason in 2008, snapping the franchise's 25-year playoff drought. And tonight, UW-Milwaukee men's basketball travels to Dayton, Ohio for a showdown with Wright State.
Checking the roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. The snow flurries continue to present problems on the roads. Let's start on 94 North. Just in a few moments ago, left lane blocked at Holt Avenue, and that is due to a crash. Backups now stretching all the way towards the airport. Still a mess on 894 North and South. The left lane on North 894 blocked due to a crash. That's been about an hour now around Lincoln, but the work is still continuing on the left side of the road, and so we have to move over. North and south, both very slow on 894 between the zoo and the Hale right now. And also another incident on 94 East, right shoulder block due to a broken down vehicle at Barker Road, and a slow stretch through the construction zone that's already over there anyway.
This report sponsored by Exterior Pros and Baths. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation. Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. Visit extpros.com today.
Checking out your forecast, scattered snow showers today. Less than an inch, though, not a lot. We have a high of 24. That's a lot better than the last few days, but the wind, it's still out there, so it's making it feel colder yet. Tonight, snow is early, clearing late, low of 13. Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 20. Friday, mostly sunny, high of 23. And get ready for Saturday, everybody. We have a high of 36. Mostly sunny on Sunday and a high of 28. It's currently 16 degrees in Milwaukee.
Girl is plain to see, then you're the only one for me. And repeat steps 1 through 3.
A new chapter on Capitol Hill. President Trump is back in office, and he is wasting no time getting back to work. Let's get the latest on Capitol Hill right now with CBS congressional correspondent and our expert on 80s and 90s music, Scott McFarland. Scott, I got to let you in on this. Today, producer Gina said, I think I might stump him on this one, and I didn't know what it was. As soon as it came on, I thought, no way, you've got this.
Brian McKnight's Back at One was the biggest R&B hit of the summer of 1999. So you're not going to stump me with that one.
I know. This is a good one. That's a classic. I was like, ooh, I just want to snap my fingers to that one and sing along. But we've got a lot to talk about today, Scott. Federal DEI offices, diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, are going to be shut down by the end of the day today. So we're looking at 4 p.m. our time here in Wisconsin. What's the process for closing these offices, and what's happening to the workers?
Well, some of this, it began upon Trump taking office because he forecast what he was going to do here. So the federal workforce was anticipating this. It doesn't come as a surprise. But there's not like a single diversity inclusion office, in every federal agency, in their Washington headquarters. This is varying agency by agency. The federal government has lots of little eccentricities to each of its offices. There is a transition that happens where the political staff leave a federal agency and new political staff come in, but the career civil servants, which compose most of the federal workforce, they remain. But those who have tasks that are involving diversion, equity, and inclusion are to move off of those tasks or be put on leave as soon as they can.
And Scott, we're also seeing a lot on what has been happening with the pardons for the January 6, 2021 rioters. I just saw a few moments ago, Lauren Boebert was apparently inviting some of the individuals that were pardoned to do a tour of the Capitol building, which is an interesting decision. How are police officers on Capitol Hill taking the news that President Trump issued all those pardons?
Well, the victims of January 6th characterize this as a gut punch. It's been a challenging 4 years for so many different reasons. But the pardoning of the people who maimed, clubbed, gassed, and antagonized police is a re-trauma for those who suffered the initial trauma. You remember the numbers here. More than 140 police officers were injured that day. That's just physical injuries. Congressional staff, some as young as their early 20s, were barricaded behind doors to keep the rioters out. And then the fact that all of these rioters, in so many of these cases, did not show remorse for what they did. They, in so many cases, Adam, knew that pardons were coming as soon as Trump won the election. And they have in the past few weeks, in the weeks before Trump took the oath, galvanized, considered themselves hostages, in some cases planned some form of retribution for their imprisonment. This is a really tough moment for the victims of January 6th and for so much of the Capitol community right now.
Scott, are some people worried that the January 6th pardons put Democrats at a higher risk of attack from political violence?
Absolutely. And Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut said as much on the Senate floor a few moments ago, that it is Democrats who are now at graver risk because there is a far-right group, Trump supporters, that now feel they have a mandate to atone for what happened to these January 6th defendants and what happened to Trump and his prosecutions. We know the witnesses, those who testified at the trials, police officers, rank and file, staff, are worried about retribution, retaliation. And that's not inconsequential because these are people who've shown violent tendencies in the past.
We're talking with CBS congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. So much going on in D.C. right now as President Trump is back in office for his second go-around and certainly getting things done immediately with the executive orders and the pardons. He is not wasting time. Something else I saw, Senator Dick Durbin just met with President Trump's nominee for FBI director, and his takeaway was that Kash Patel is the wrong choice to lead the FBI. What's his reasoning there?
Well, there's going to be a pretty dramatic showdown here 1 week from today. That's when Kash Patel has his confirmation hearings before the U.S. Senate. What Dick Durbin is arguing is that Kash Patel lacks the necessary experience and qualifications to run the Bureau, this almost unspeakably powerful agency, which has the ability to get involved with any single American's life if it chooses. They're also going to make the argument, as Dick Durbin did overnight, that Kash Patel is way too beholden, way too loyal to Donald Trump, a Trump loyalist of the highest order. I think Durbin's arguing you don't want a loyalist in the FBI. There's supposed to be some independence between the White House, the Department of Justice, and the FBI. You're going to hear all of that next week during confirmation hearings, but there's a fundamental political dynamic that's worth mentioning aloud. There may be a lot of heartburn about Kash Patel as FBI director, but until you hear a Republican in the Senate come out and say, I may not support him, he remains on a trajectory towards confirmation. That could change, but it hasn't happened yet, and his name's been out there a while.
Sure.
Sticking in Congress, Scott, we've been seeing a lot of states and cities have been joining in on a lawsuit fighting against President Trump's executive order insinuating that he would end birthright citizenship, which is a constitutionally protected 14th Amendment. What legal ground does the president have for this? And what are you hearing from those in Congress as who maybe have not joined on these lawsuits yet about hoping that maybe or not that their states will join the cascade that's growing?
Yeah, I believe the number now is 18 states are part of this, and we expect some of the outside interest groups, civil libertarian groups, are joining in on this as well. What legal ground does he have? Well, that's a great question. And Adam, that's probably why these lawsuits now exist, and it'll be for the courts to decide. This was destined to go to the courts, by the courts at the highest order. And I think Trump and the opponents of this idea both knew that from the jump. But it's hard to predict where this goes, other than the certainty that this is a political issue that Trump would like to have resonating. He'd like this to be a part of the conversation. Even if he doesn't succeed in his initiative, this initiative that seems to be in defiance of the Constitution, he is serving a political interest for him and his party. They want to talk about this. They want this to be part of the public discourse, and I think he's already succeeded in quite a way.
Scott, I can't remember if we've asked you this before, but are you personally on TikTok?
I kind of weaned myself off before January 19th, thinking that this thing may go away. Let me stand down for a while and focus my energy elsewhere, like you're listening to 90s music.
Well, I was thinking you'd be a good one for TikTok because there's so much good music on there and whatnot. And there's the news aspect. A lot of people think, if you're not on, a lot of people think, oh, the silly dances and whatnot. But you also have a lot of people who make a living off of it. And also, there's a lot of news involved. And in fact, there's so much coverage of the inauguration on TikTok right now with a mix of music as well. But I was just curious about that because we now have President Trump, who says he is open to Elon Musk buying TikTok. And I was a little surprised. So Sunday, it goes down for a little bit. And then Monday, it's back up with a welcome back message. I wasn't surprised about the welcome back message itself, but I was surprised that it specifically said President Trump. It says, thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the U.S. And I guess it just kind of shows, all these companies getting behind Trump right now in 2025. But what are you hearing about possibly Elon Musk buying TikTok? Because there have been quite a few names and companies that have been thrown around, but we don't have any result yet.
Yeah, Trump himself mentioned that possibility in a news conference last night, that he would be comfortable with Elon Musk taking it over. Trump's critics pretty unequivocal this past weekend when TikTok went down for a minute and came back up. It lauded President Trump that this was some form of political effort to curry favor, either Trump with TikTok or TikTok with Trump, that this has been allegedly a stunt by TikTok and or by the president. But it's hard to ignore the reality, which is that TikTok's CEO was at the inauguration with a prime seat, the better seating than members of the cabinet in that room when Trump took the oath. A lot of heartburn about these billionaire tech moguls having untold sway with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I noticed that too, whether it was Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg or, of course, Elon up in the front row. That's what stood out to me watching the inauguration was those tech heads in that front row. Scott, do you know if antitrust could come into play with the hypothetical still at this point that Elon Musk would take a vested interest in another social media app?
I think it's going to be broader issues than just antitrust. But it's hard to predict what a Trump Justice Department and its antitrust oversight would and wouldn't do. He has not yet had an attorney general confirmed. Pam Bondi, the former Florida attorney general, is the nominee. Appears to be on a pathway to confirmation, but she's not there yet, nor are all the people she'd have overseeing things like that. I guess the point I'm trying to underscore is that we don't know what's possible at this point with things that might have seemed incredulous months or years ago. Elon Musk's outsized sway in Trump's inner circle is a defining part of the past few weeks and indefinitely in this administration.
I'm curious, in general, what's the vibe in Washington and on Capitol Hill now that President Trump is back in power and back at work?
He has to navigate at some point, not immediately, but at some point he's going to have to navigate the fact that he has a perilously small Republican majority in the U.S. House. He still has just 1 or 2 votes to spare on anything in the U.S. House because Democrats actually made ground up in these elections that Trump won in 2024. There are going to be big things to come that he's going to need Democratic support for. If he wants the debt ceiling raised, Democrats are going to have to vote for it. If he wants to keep the government open, it's likely Democrats are going to have to vote for it. If he wants some of the basic blocking and tackling of government to happen, things you have to do through legislation, he'll need Democrats to vote for it. So if Democrats continue to watch Donald Trump engage in this shock and awe campaign, as they characterize it, from pardoning people who attack police officers to shutting down federal agencies that are to be making federal agencies more inclusive. All the other things he has on the wish list, it's going to make it harder and harder to get those Democratic votes for anything. That's a reality Trump will have to begin facing in mid-March as the next deadline for the government funding.
So much great perspective from Scott McFarlane in Washington, D.C. right now. And Scott, maybe next week we'll stump you.
Please keep trying, but also the music is the best part of every day, so please keep it coming.
Yes. Does anybody else around the country, when you do these hits, anybody else do that for you?
The Sirius XM folks do, and the folks who do that satellite radio, because they have all these specialized music channels, and they love synthesizing music into everything they do. You all are a breath of fresh air in several different ways. That's just one of them.
You rock. Thank you so much, Scott. We'll talk next week.
Anytime.
It's 12:51.
Time's ticking on Heiser's Drive Into 2025 sales event. The clock is literally running out on remaining 2024 models. We're making room for new rides, which means huge savings just for you. Shop online or race in today and get a new vehicle for way less than expected. With low payments, special financing, and immediate delivery, you'll start 2025 in style without breaking the bank. But hurry, because once they're gone, they're gone. Visit Heiser.com now for all of the details and get ready to roll into the new year with a celebratory deal.
See dealer for complete details.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
SemperFiRoofing.com.
You got to get to Built Right today. Vince Petrano to tell you about Built Right's extended New Year's mattress sale. Their one location saves you time and money, and they make it easy to shop, easy to buy. Built Right beats any big box, national or local chain store, department store, employee-free store, online retailer, or warehouse club because they have the guaranteed lowest prices. Built Right also has the best value, selection, and experienced team in Wisconsin. Over 60 models, 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best mattress brands made in the USA: Heirloom, Gold Bond, Therapeutic, Restonic, and Schiffman. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $7.99 or more. Built Right saves you money. Voted best place to shop. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, closed to be with family. Make sure to tell them Vinny sent you to Built Right, just off of 894, 54th and Layton Avenue in Greenfield.
We've saved our clients over $19 million in real estate commission. I say this because that's a pretty big number. But at Century 21 Benefit Realty, it's really not about being a top volume agency. Over here, it's more about you. And at 1.9% commission and no more than $19,000 commission for the listing side of your sale, no matter what size property you're selling, you will save substantially. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Have you ever heard that song? It's peanut butter jelly time.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we could change the lyrics too. It's Girl Scout cookie time.
Is it Girl Scout cookie time?
It is.
All right.
Sales start today. We got the news from our news director here, Tiff Pua. And that's one of those that I feel like people should be love. It's time to buy the cookies. And what are your favorites? I have favorites that mine don't really change. I don't venture out. I'm doing the same every time.
Yep, mine's the same way. I've been the exact same. Samoas. I love
And you call them Samoas.
Is that wrong?
Well, see, here's the thing. Depending on what market you're in, because Samoas are the ones that are caramely and crispy and coconutty, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
See, some people call those caramel delights.
Samoas is fun. More fun to say.
Oh, well, Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast here calls them caramel delights. The crispy cookies with caramel, coconut, and chocolatey stripes. And I'm glad you brought them up because as an adult, those are my favorites.
Yeah.
Used to be as a kid, Thin Mint's number 1, caramel delights number 2. But I guess your taste buds evolve, and so caramel delights, my number 1.
The life hack, though, of keeping the Thin Mint box in the freezer, that doesn't change from when you're a kid to when you're an adult. That still is arguably undefeated.
Yeah, so if you have a Girl Scout in the neighborhood, just know that sales start today. So I'm going to be ordering a few boxes.
Me too.
Put a couple more in the freezer. Thanks so much for joining us for Wisconsin's Midday News. Local news coming up next.
Throughout history, some people have been born into greatness because of their name or family. Others gained greatness because of their actions. On Wisconsin's Morning News, we celebrate everyday heroes, the John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they woke up one morning they'd be saving a life. Everyday Heroes, Thursday at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Holiday Mazda in Fond du Lac. Hey, drive into 2025 confident and inspired in a new all-wheel drive Mazda SUV during the New Year's sales event. Connect with Team Holiday for impressive selection. Find the one right for you, then pair up their low, clearly marked simplified price with